Welcome everyone to my Firefly guide. In this guide I will go over Firefly's kit, her playstyles, Trace's priority, Relic and Planar sets, stats, light cones, team comps, and lastly Eidolons. Keep in mind that Firefly is not officially out yet, and all gameplay in this video is from the 2.3 livestream. And without further ado, let's get into Firefly's kit. Firefly, and also Sam, is a 5-star fire destruction character who scales well on break effect and deals most of her damage through super break. Firefly has a base attack of 524, a base speed of 104, and an ultimate energy cost of 240. Firefly's basic attack deals fire damage, scaling on attack to a single target, and generates 1 skill point. Her skill consumes HP equal to 40% of max HP, and regenerates energy equal to 60% of max energy, dealing fire damage scaling on attack to a single target. Additionally, the next action will also be advanced by 25%. In Memory of Chaos and other battle modes, you start with 50% of energy, so a single usage of this skill can get Firefly's ultimate up. If your current HP is less than 40%, HP will be reduced to 1. This skill consumes 1 skill point. Both of Firefly's basic attack and skill can be enhanced through her ultimate. Firefly's ultimate allows her to enter the complete combustion state and advancing your next action by 100%. While in this state, Firefly gains an additional 60 speed at trace level 10, and weakness break efficiency will be increased by 50%. Additionally, break damage received by enemies will be increased by 20%. The complete combustion state will last until the countdown timer takes its turn. The countdown timer has a fixed speed of 70 and will take its turn on the action order. This is similar to Robin's Concerto state, as the state will remain active until the countdown timer takes its turn. Firefly's enhanced basic attack during the complete combustion state will restore HP equal to 20% of max HP and deals increased fire damage to a single target. The enhanced skill will restore 25% of max HP, applies a fire weakness to a single target for 2 turns, and deals fire damage equal to 20% of break effect, plus attack to a single target. Adjacent targets will also take damage equal to 10% of break effect plus attack. The break effect taken into consideration here is capped at 360%, which also brings the break effect breakpoint you should target when building Firefly. When Firefly's normal skill consumes HP, which may leave her vulnerable in some situations, this is where her talent comes into play. Her talent reduces damage received, the lower your HP is. The maximum damage reduction can be reached when HP is 20% or lower, which is 40% less damage at trace level 10. During the complete combustion state, the damage reduction will remain at its maximum effect, and effect res will be increased by 30%. Additionally, if you start battle with less than 50% energy, energy will automatically be regenerated to 50%. Once energy is at its maximum, all debuffs on Firefly will be dispelled. As for Firefly's technique, she will transform into Sam and fly in the air for 5 seconds. When the duration ends, Sam will plunge down and attack all enemies within a radius. At the start of each wave, a fire weakness will be applied to all enemies, lasting for 2 turns, and dealing damage equal to 200% of attack. As for the first bonus ability, during the complete combustion state, attacking enemies with no fire weakness will reduce their toughness with 55% of original toughness break. The second bonus ability activates during the complete combustion state, while break effect is equal to or greater than 200% or 360%. Attacking a weakness broken enemy will convert the toughness reduction of the attack into 35% or 50% super break damage. And the last bonus ability will increase break effect by 0.8% for every 10 attack over 1800. The rest of her traces will increase break effect by 37.3%, effect res by 18%, and speed by 5. Firefly's kit revolves around breaking enemies. One of Firefly's bonus abilities allows her to deal an instance of super break damage, and because of that, she can be played in super break teams. Super break is a rather new playstyle that was introduced with the Harmony main character. Super break can be enabled by Harmony main character, or in Firefly's case, one of her bonus abilities enables Super Break. Super Break triggers when attacking a weakness broken enemy, the toughness reduction of the attack will be converted into an instance of Super Break damage. Super Break does not scale on crit, attack, or damage boosts. Instead, building for break effect will increase your Super Break damage. There are some other variables that also affect Super Break damage, such as a character's innate toughness reduction, level, and Super Break damage increase. Because of Firefly's ability to trigger Super Break, playing her with Harmony main character is almost essential in Super Break teams. Harmony main character can increase Super Break damage and grant bonus break effect. Since these teams are going to be breaking enemies a lot of the time, support characters like Ruan Mei are also going to be highly synergistic. Other characters that can also break enemies will be very strong in these teams, and since enemies will be broken most of the time, you might not also need the strongest sustain units in these teams, so a sustain character that can also break enemies like Gallagher will be a decent addition to these teams. To deal break damage and regenerate energy, Firefly will need to use her skill a lot, which might lead to her becoming skill point negative. So having teammates who can generate skill points will be beneficial. While Super Break is probably going to be Firefly's primarily recommended team, you can try and go with crit and attack builds and teams if you really want to. When it comes to Firefly's trace level priority, I would first recommend leveling up her ultimate and unlocking all the speed and break effect traces, then level up her talent. Both of Firefly's skill and basic attack are attack scaling, and therefore you don't have to level them if you're playing a Super Break team. Leveling basic attack and skill is not completely wasted though, and if you want to, you can level up her skill, then basic attack. When it comes to relics, Firefly's best in slot will be the upcoming set, Iron Cavalry against the Scourge set. This set's 2-piece bonus increases break effect. As for the 4-piece bonus, when the wielding character's break effect is 150% or higher, break damage will ignore 10% of enemy's defense. When the wielding character's break effect is 250% or higher, super break damage will ignore 15% of target's defense. Both break effect thresholds should be easily achievable with Firefly. This set is oriented towards super break and is really good for Firefly. Aside from Iron Cavalry against the Scourge, you can use Genius of Brilliant Stars if you're fighting quantum weak enemies, but it won't be as good as Iron Cavalry. A 2-piece break effect and break effect mix with Iron Cavalry, Thief of Shooting Meteor, or the Watchmaker set would be the best option for damage outside of the 2 previously mentioned sets. If you don't want to farm Iron Cavalry, or don't have a full set, you can definitely use this combination. As for Planar Ornaments, Firefly has 2 main good options. The new set coming to the simulated universe, Forge of the Kalpani Lantern, is going to be the best set in terms of damage. This set increases speed by 6%, and when the wielding character attacks an enemy with a fire weakness, break effect will be increased by 40% for 1 turn. Just slightly behind Forge of the Kalpani Lantern is the Talia Kingdom of Banditry set. This set increases break effect by 16%, and when the wielding character's speed reaches 145 or higher, break effect will be further increased by 20%. The speed requirement is within Firefly's speed breakpoint and shouldn't be difficult to reach. Between both sets, Forge of the Kalpani Lantern is slightly better, as it gives speed, and 4% more break effect. Outside of these 2 sets, the other options aren't really that good, and you can probably run any random 2 pieces if you don't have a good planar set. Moving on to stats, let's firstly go over how much speed Firefly needs. During Firefly's ultimate, which is the complete combustion state, there is a countdown timer with a fixed speed of 70. Ideally, you will want to get as many turns in before the countdown timer takes action. As part of the complete combustion state, Firefly gains a 60 speed increase at trace level 10, add to that an extra 5 speed from the rest of her traces, and you already get 169 speed just by being in the complete combustion state and unlocking her traces. With that much speed, Firefly can get 2 turns in before the complete combustion state ends. To get 3 turns in, you will need to hit a speed breakpoint of 210.1 speed, which is an extra 41.1 speed from relics and team buffs. So to get 3 turns in during the complete combustion state, you need to have a total of 150.1 speed. This includes team buffs from characters like Ruan Mei, relics, or planar set buffs. So when you start combat, you will need to have 150.1 speed or higher in your stats page, and then in the complete combustion state, you will gain an additional 60 speed, which brings the total to 210.1 speed. The other breakpoint you can achieve is 165 speed to get an extra turn in memory of Chaos 12. The breakpoint for 4 turns during the complete combustion state is 280, which is going to be very difficult to achieve and not always realistic. In most cases, I would recommend going for 150.1 speed during combat, outside of the complete combustion state. And as to how much speed you will need from your relics, if you're running Ruin Mei in your team, her talent can increase all teammates' speed by 10% at trace level 10, and if you're using the Forge of the Kalpani Lantern Planar set, you can gain another 6% speed increase. With both in your team, you will need 24.5 speed from your relics, so a single speed boot can get you to the 150.1 speed breakpoint. If you're only using Ruin Mei, you'll need 30.7 speed. If you have the Forge of the Kalpani Lantern set alone, you'll need 34.9 speed. Keep in mind that speed is a floating point value, which is rounded in the stats page. If you want to determine exactly how much speed you have, you can use this formula. As for break effect, having 360% break effect should be the break point, as that is the cap for her enhanced skill damage and the second bonus ability. 360% may seem like a lot, but it should be achievable. If you're running the Iron Cavalry set and Forge of the Kalpani, you will already be getting 56% break effect. Harmony main character can give up to 30% break effect at trace level 10, and Ruin Mei gives 20% break effect from her bonus ability. A single break effect rope can give up to 64.8% break effect. So that is already 170.8% break effect, without including Firefly's bonus ability, which converts attack into break effect. The Watchmaker set can also be taken into consideration here if you're running it on your supports, as it gives 30% break effect to all teammates for 2 turns after the wielding character uses their ultimate. It's also important to note that this effect can't be stacked if another unit is also using this set. Firefly's signature light cone increases break effect by 60% at S1. Indelible Promise is a 4-star light cone that also increases break effect, granting 28% at S1. There are a lot of sources of break effect, and getting up to 360% should not be difficult. As for attack, while it isn't higher priority than break effect, you still want to get as much attack as possible, as it also increases break effect. So, for main stats where break effect is not possible, you will want to get attack. For main stats, you will want attack on your body piece. On your boots, go for speed if you don't have enough, otherwise go for attack. For the planar sphere, go for attack. Super break damage does not scale on damage boost, so going for fire damage is not worth it. And lastly, for your rope, go for break effect. For your substats, you will want break effect and speed until you met your speed requirement, and then attack. When it comes to light cones, Firefly has some decent 4-star and free options. Her best in slot is going to be her signature light cone, Whereabouts Should Dreams Rest. This light cone increases break effect by 60%, and when the wielding character deals break damage to an enemy, the enemy will be affected by Routed, which lasts for 2 turns. Enemies affected by Routed will receive 24% more break damage from the character wielding this light cone and have their speed decrease by 20%. This light cone is obviously going to be Firefly's best in slot, as it gives a lot of break effect and increases break damage. And since Firefly wants a lot of break effect, any destruction light cone that increases break effect will be very strong on her. Conversely, light cones with a lot of attack will be good, since Firefly converts attack into break effect. On the Fall of an Eon is generally going to be Firefly's second best option at Superimposition 5, and it's also a free light cone. While on the Fall of an Eon does not provide break effect, it provides a lot of attack which gets converted into break effect. Do keep in mind though that the attack buff will need some time to stack up, but once you do get the attack stacks up, Fall of an Eon should be better than S5 Indelible Promise, and generally rank higher than what's shown in this graph. Indelible Promise is going to be the best 4-star option, better than most other 5 stars. Indelible Promise provides break effect, and that alone makes it really good. Aside from those options, the difference between all other destruction light cones is just up to which gives the most attack, or provide bonuses like ignoring defense. Flames Afar, the light cone with Sam on it, is not good on Firefly since it only increases damage dealt. Super Break does not scale on damage boost. Overall, Firefly has decent and accessible options to choose from, and you don't need her signature light cone. When it comes to Firefly's team comps, and specifically Super Break, pairing her with Harmony main character is going to be almost essential. Harmony Trailblazer, or HMC, enables Super Break for all teammates, increases Super Break damage and break effect. Since this is also a free character, I would almost always recommend playing Harmony main character with Firefly. As for the rest of your team, you will want another Harmony character or an enemy debuffer, and a sustain unit. If you're playing Pure Fiction or don't need a sustain unit in your team, you can go for a second Harmony or debuffer, or maybe even another break damage dealer. For your second Harmony unit, Ruan Mei is going to be the best option for this slot. Ruan Mei is generally a very strong Harmony character, but on top of that she provides valuable buffs for Super Break teams, such as break efficiency, break effect, resistance penetration, and even speed. If you don't have Ruan Mei, you can go for another Harmony character like Asta, as she increases attack and speed, or even Hanya, as she also increases both speed and attack and helps with managing skill points. Bronya's 100% action advance can give Firefly an extra turn during her complete combustion state, and Bronya's ultimate can also increase attack. Sparkle's 50% action advance isn't as reliable with Firefly. For Nihility debuffers, both Pella or Silverwolf are strong options, as defense reduction increases Super Break damage, and you can definitely use either unit. Pella provides AoE defense shred, while Silverwolf is single target. Silverwolf's weakness implant isn't as useful as it may seem, since Firefly's technique can implant fire weakness for 2 turns, and so does her enhanced skill. Other Nihility characters can also be used. As for your sustain unit, Gallagher is pretty much the best option here. Gallagher can break enemies and deal decent Super Break damage. While his healing is not the strongest, it should be fine with Firefly being tankier than most damage dealers. Gallagher can also help with skill point generation. Aside from Gallagher, you can use any other sustain unit. Sustains who can also help with generating skill points would be better. And lastly, Eidolons. Firefly's E1 allows her enhanced skill in the complete combustion state to ignore 15% of target's defense. Additionally, the enhanced skill will not consume any skill points. This is a decent first Eidolon, and it makes managing skill points much easier. As for E2, whenever Firefly's enhanced skill or basic attack in the complete combustion state defeats an enemy, or causes them to be weakness broken, Firefly gains 1 extra turn. This effect can trigger every 1 turn. This is a very strong second Eidolon, as it allows you to take more turns if you achieved the requirements of either defeating an enemy or weakness breaking them. If you're fighting multiple enemies and able to trigger this extra turn, and combined with the fact that Firefly's enhanced skill does not consume skill points with E1, this Eidolon has the ability to be very strong. E3 is 2 extra levels for her skill and 1 extra level for basic attacks. Since both basic attack and skill levels are attack scaling, these extra levels don't really matter much. E4 increases effect resistance by 50% during the complete combustion state. E5 adds 2 extra levels for both ultimate and talent. The extra speed you get with her ultimate level makes speed requirements even lower. And finally, Eidolon 6. While Firefly is in the complete combustion state, fire resistance penetration will be increased by 20%, and weakness break efficiency for both enhanced skill and basic attack will be increased by 50%. Needless to say, E6 is a very strong Eidolon, as it increases Super Break damage. However, Firefly is still very strong at E0. She does have decent Eidolons like E1 and E2, but you don't have to feel forced to go for any of them. And that's all from this guide. Firefly looks like another very strong damage dealer, one who plays in a new and unique playstyle. I hope this guide was helpful, and this is also my first Honkai Star Rail video. If this guide does well, I will hopefully keep on making more guides for upcoming characters. Thank you for making it till the end, and thank you for watching.